Listen, we talk a lot about fixing our careers, fixing our relationships, fixing our goals, but have you thought about fixing your relationship with you? Have you wondered, how do I heal the relationship I have with myself? Because you can't keep building on a cracked foundation, and you can't keep loving others while abandoning you. And you can't lead well if you won't be led into wholeness first. So that's why I'm inviting you to an upcoming masterclass entitled Healing You First. And I'm going to be teaching you the 5 steps on how to heal the relationship you have with yourself. And don't worry, this will not be surface, cute affirmations masterclass. This is going to be real work for the strong ones who are tired of performing peace while feeling broken inside. So if you're exhausted from being the dependable one, where nowhere is safe for you to fall apart, or if you're done measuring your worth by what you produce or how you show up for everyone else, or maybe you're tired and you're ready to finally do the work of coming home to you. This masterclass, I designed it for you. And so in the masterclass, we will be talking about why self-abandonment feels safe but costs you everything, how your past is writing your present choices, and the practical steps to start healing so you can love, lead, and live from a place that's actually whole. So if you're ready to stop hiding behind the hustle, and if you want to stop bleeding on the people you say that you love, and if you're ready to finally feel at home in your own skin, then I want you in this room. So check the show notes right now and sign up for Healing You First. Because the relationship you have with yourself, it sets the tone for every other relationship you have. So I'll see you there on purpose. Hey family, welcome to the Unmute Your Mic podcast, where we talk about healing what success didn't fix so you can live a fulfilled life, not just a functional one. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you are here. That means somebody loved you, baby, and they sent this episode to you, or maybe the algorithm sent me to you. Either way, I'm so glad you're here. And if you are returning, thank you for choosing yourself again today. Make sure before we get into today's topic that, baby, wherever you're listening to this episode from, hit the follow button for your girl, okay? So that way you never miss when our new episodes are dropping. They drop every single Tuesday morning at 6 to get your life together, okay? That's 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure that you hit that follow button, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Castbox, wherever you're listening, hit that follow, as it helps to get us in front of more eyes, more impact for more healthy conversations. So without further ado, I can't wait to get into this topic because listen, today's episode, it is for the ones who have been told all their life to be strong. So today's topic, we are going to get right into it. Today's topic is called Healing What You Were Taught to Hide. So I hope you are ready. I hope you got your pencil, your paper together, because baby, you're going to want to take notes. So many of us who were taught to be strong, we were also taught to never let them see you sweat. We were taught, don't cry. We were taught, handle it, figure it out. And so if you've learned like how to just keep it all together, even if it was breaking apart on the inside, then today's conversation, it has your name all on it. We're going to just at you next time so we know we're talking to you. So we're talking about like why being strong, it's not safe. And healing what you were taught to hide is truly the only way you're going to get free. So let's start with the lie of strength. So we're going to tell the truth, okay? We love saying be strong. Everybody likes that. Nobody wants to seem or appear as if they are weak. We post about it. We teach our kids. We reward it in ourselves. We really amplify being strong. But too often, being strong means hide it, don't need anyone, don't make anyone comfortable with your pain, stay in shame, stay in guilt, stay in bondage to blame. See, these are the things that's happening while you're telling everybody you're strong. Externally, you're saying you're strong, but internally, this is really what's happening. And so it has taught us to suppress and not process, to hold it in, which then means you can't heal it, to perform being okay, even if you really are not. And for my Black listeners, I know that this message hits even harder because we were taught survival. We were taught don't slip, don't show weakness, don't give them anything to use against you. And guess what? Everything that you didn't give them to use against you, it's still working against you. You're not winning, baby. Your body keeps score. The trauma leaves a trace. So even those things that we were taught from our parents who were trying to teach us how to survive, please know that survival and thriving is not the same. And you can be thriving, but you can't thrive being a bag lady, Erykah Badu. You gon' hurt your back carrying all these bags like that. Listen to the song. So you gotta hear these words. Y'all just be singing stuff. You ain't listening to the words. Erykah Badu's song is called Bag Lady. You gonna hurt your back carrying all those bags like that. That means you're carrying it wrong. You're toting around trauma that's not yours. And although our parents and grandparents and great-great-grandparents, their reasoning was for the good, but you also have to understand the contextual time that they were in. A lot of them were, again, in slavery. That's why you have post-traumatic slave syndrome. Look it up. It's a thing because most of them were in slavery. So they were in survival every single day. They couldn't teach you what they never experienced. So the reason it's gotten passed down to this point is because no one has yet to check and see like what you running from, baby. You're free. We're not living in those days anymore. Why are you still living like that? Because in your mind, as we talked about last week, your mind is living in the projects. You may be living in a $500,000 home or 150. You may be living in a nice house, but your mindset is $50 rent on housing. So you might as well go back over there unless you're ready to do the work. Because mentally you are a project living in the projects and you don't even have to be. Because it's like we're running, trying to make 100 because 99 and a half won't do. That's for my faith-based, overly spiritual people that listen to the podcast. Y'all know that song? I'm trying to make 100 because 99 and a half won't do. Well, what happens if you just stopped and realized you had made 100? Maybe you're at 250. What are you trying to prove? What you mean 99 and a half won't do? And that's exactly why you can't rest in you. You're in a skin that you can't even find peace in. Because mentally, you are overworking yourself, you're overstimulated, you're performing for other people, you're overplaying your part because you're trying to run out of a situation that if you just stopped and faced it, you would realize you got dominion. You don't need to worry about no halves and that. You don't have to do that. But because we haven't stopped, and we don't rest in our heart where love resides with the number one commandment that Jesus left us before he went up to the heavens. He said the greatest commandment is for love because the heart is the place you cannot live without and you're supposed to live from. Who have you ever seen heart dead but brain alive? You don't. And many of us, this is not in my notes. When we look at the Black community specifically, and I speak to this because I'm Black, when you look at the Black community, we have the highest rate of issues when it comes to heart failure, when it comes to cardiovascular disease. You know why? Because many of us have a love problem that's in your heart. Again, trauma has a trace. You just got to have enough wisdom to trace it. To sit down and start looking, think back over your life and you think things over. When you start thinking things over, that's when you realize where it started from. But if you're always chasing, you don't ever realize why this is a thing. And please do your research because I do mine because I want you guys to know that this is a real thing. Yes, we need to know spirit, but you need to know science. They go together. They are in oneness. Two individual things that have two different tasks, but they have the same goal, which is helping you operate as one so you are not disconnected, but you're forever connected. So when you look at the science of your body, while you telling people out of your mouth that you're fine, your heart is not pumping properly. Why? Because you haven't forgiven, baby. Some of y'all got heart issues right now. You know why? Because your heart is full of malice. Your heart is full of unforgiveness. Your heart is so hardened. That's why you got heart issues. Then you at the doctor trying to blame this person. No, baby, it's you. It's it's the way, the environment in which you live. It's the way you live your life. You've been living your life in pieces and not in peace. You've been living your life out of order. You've been unforgiving to other people, but you're ready for them to forgive you in 2 seconds, but you don't forgive anybody. You're willing to forget, but you can't forget because somebody really, 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 really hurt you this time. Aretha Franklin, Waiting to Exhale album. Check the song. Y'all know that old song from Waiting to Exhale? I'm willing to forgive you, but I can't forget because you really, really, really hurt me this time. You're in bondage, sis. You're in bondage, sir. That's why you 40 years old and your heart look like you 80. That's why you got to go and get a stress test done and you 35. Some of you were born with a hole in your heart because your mother had one. Oh, I know that hurt. But we're going to be raw. We got to be real. There are things of DNA passings down. And when you look at unprocessed trauma goes somewhere. It's shut up in your bones like fire. It's overwhelming your nervous system, which is why your cortisol levels are high, which means now your blood pressure is high. Why? Because your body responds to the environment that is in. That's why when you are around toxic people, your organs are toxic too. Because the environment you keep placing you in. You got to value yourself more. Where you plant yourself is important. You can plant a seed on concrete and you can plant a seed in soil. Only one of them are going to grow. And so when your heart is so hardened, nothing can come in, but then nothing can come out. And it suffocates the greatest version of you. It suffocates your ability to connect with people in an authentic way that doesn't make you feel like you are a liar. The only reason you're struggling with thinking that you are an imposter is because you haven't secured your identity. So when your identity is insecure, you can't live a secure life. That's why you're in imposter syndrome, because you are insecure about your identity, because of the environment you haven't healed from, because you were taught to hide and not deal with the trauma head on. But baby, you can't heal what you won't reveal. You can't heal in the place that you got sick either. So some of you, the reason you have not begun this journey of healing is because you hang around sick people all day. And you're so busy, again, trying to negotiate with a non-negotiable. You have a non-negotiable value, but you over there trying to negotiate and you trying to tell God, well, I'm going to just see if he going to change. He's not. I'm going to just see if she going to do better. She's not. Because if a woman not trying to do better for herself, trying to do better for you, all it's going to make her do is resent you even more when you make her become a woman she never wanted to be. So then you're still going to have nothing. Whitney Houston, I have nothing, nothing, nothing. You're going to still have nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing, baby. And it's because you're not dealing with the truth. The truth is you don't have any business being with them. This is not in my notes. So, baby, please catch this because this is for you. This got your name on it. And so when you look at the cost of trying to hold it all together, let's talk about what it's costing you since you don't think it's costing that much. Loneliness, resentment, emotional isolation, burnout. That's what it's costing you. And medical bills. Because you're definitely going to the hospital. You're definitely at CVS. Or wherever else you get your prescriptions from. Why? Because now you got to get something to help you regulate what you won't deal with. Now you want a pill to fix a problem it didn't create. That pill didn't create that. You want that pill to fix a problem that you created. And then you want to still have unhealthy habits. But because you take that pill, you feel like you could just not respect your own boundaries. We just going to talk about what we talking about today. Because quite frankly, I'm sick of it. And it's not a dig. It's just the truth. And we all have our own struggles. The reason I can talk about these things so candidly to you is because I live them and I'm living them and I've lived them before. Like, this is not something that I haven't lived through or not living through. It's real. And it's not about being perfect. It's just about being honest about your journey. Because the only way that people can really love you is when you get honest with you. Some of y'all, this is not in my notes. Y'all got me off track today, but some of y'all are living a lie and you mad that people not showing up for you in an authentic way and they don't even know where you really at. You telling them go left, but you're really on right. You telling them you down the street when you're really still at your house. We don't even know we can't take you serious. And you mad at us for not showing up for you? Be honest with you, then call me. Because the reason you got us going in circles is because you won't stop. You got us going in circles, round and around and around. Just Luther Vandross out here. And you mad at me because we going in circles? And you mad at your spouse for not showing up for you? And you mad at them kids for not showing up for you? And you mad at your mom and them for not showing up? The issue is you. Because you're hiding something and you holding me hostage to it. That's a word for somebody. You're hiding something and you're holding everybody else hostage to a pain they didn't create, to a hurt that wasn't even theirs. So again, now you treating people like a pill and you want people to heal a problem they didn't create. Stop treating people like they Advil and Tylenol. That's why you running through them. Men, women, That's why you running through them. Baby, this is not in my notes, but this is clearly for somebody. The reason you keep running through folk like they a pill bottle is because you popping pills and you want them pills to fix what they didn't create. And all they give you is a temporary healing. It ain't even no healing. They just ease the symptoms a little bit so you forget they're there. That's all they do. They make you feel like they're gone when the truth is they haven't gone anywhere. And every time we turn around, you trying to find somebody else to deal with. Every time she catch you cheating, you tell her you ain't gonna cheat no more. And not even 2 weeks later, she ain't even got paid again from her job. You're texting somebody. You telling him you gonna stop lying about spending the money. You gonna get on a budget. And it ain't 2 weeks later, he finding bags in your trunk that you're trying to hide. Them Brahmas not gonna heal you. Them Louboutins not gonna heal you. All you doing is making somebody else revenues go up. They making money. You losing. At least if you gonna hide it, buy stocks. Not bags. Don't be a consumer. At least be a producer of something. You can't profit from something you don't produce. But that's what we do. We do that, though. We like the products because the products are connected to our pleasures. And most of us, the reason you aren't operating in your purpose is because you're too afraid to have to sacrifice them pleasures. You want that man more than you want your purpose. You want that woman more than you want that purpose. You want that job more than you want that purpose. You want this lifestyle. And so you're too afraid of what it's going to cost you to operate in purpose. I'll never forget. And I don't know who this is for today, but it is clearly for somebody because it's not in my notes. I'll never forget the day that I told my ex-husband I wanted a divorce. And I literally had heard the Holy Spirit in mid-decision because he gave me an ultimatum. He used to tell me all the time, Lauren, no decision is still a decision. Because I would act like I didn't know. I don't know what I want to do. Yes, I did. I was just afraid of it. I've been with the same person since I was 20 years old. Well, longer than that, so I was 18 years old. All the way up to 31. That's a long time to give somebody your life. So I was afraid of what life was going to look like without him because, quite frankly, I was raised by him and with him. But I knew that it was time to go. And I'll never forget the Holy Spirit saying to me, if you don't leave this time and stay gone, your children are going to relive the life you did, and you're not going to like it. That is some of your testimonies that are listening to this call right now, that's listening to this podcast. You know it's time, but you're still sitting over there because you're afraid. You want your pleasures. I wanted the $500,000 house. I wanted the exotic trips and go across the country. I wanted the international trips. I wanted the look of the Cosbys. That's what I wanted. But then the Holy Spirit said, oh, no. If you want purpose and fulfillment, you got to leave them pleasures alone. And this is one of them. So just like Isaac, that's what my first book is called, Purposeful Pain, Give Me Your Isaac. Isaac wanted his son. Abraham wanted his son Isaac. He waited 13 years for Sarah to get pregnant. He went and slept with the haymaid because the woman he was with recommended it because she was anxious and tired of waiting on God. Read your Bible. And so he went and made a decision. But God, he told Abraham he was going to give him a son. God don't care about time. I've been doing good, God, for 3 years. Girl, bye. Abraham waited 13 years. Noah built an ark for 25 years. Them little rinky-dink 3 years you done did are nothing. Sorry. Like you acting like you created a real discipline. Is this a habit you do every day or no? Because some of us tell God we've been at it for 3 years and every 6 months you got to restart. But we want a cookie. That's a conversation for a different day. But this is the issue. I wanted those pleasures. And God said, oh, no. I'm going to give you purpose, but you're going to give me that pleasure. And just like Abraham, when he went up there to go sacrifice Isaac, he didn't tell anybody he was going up there to sacrifice Isaac. And Isaac was of age, clearly, because Isaac asked Daddy where the sacrifice was when they got to the place where he was going to have to sacrifice him. So that means he was talking, which means he wasn't 2 years old or 1 year old. He was clearly old enough to talk and to identify that you said we're going to sacrifice something, but it's only me and you. Where the lamb at? But then God stopped him and told him he wasn't going to have to sacrifice it. So for me, it was the same thing. I had to sacrifice that marriage for purpose. Because the longer I would have stayed there, I would have never healed. We would never be on this podcast. You would never know my name. You would have never met me. You would never know anything about me. You would not know I even existed had I stayed in that marriage. Because I was in bondage to blame. I wanted to blame him. I was mad at this person. When the truth was, I was broken before I got there. I was trying to just make him appeal to heal something that he didn't break. Did he have his flaws? Absolutely. But did I have mine too? Oh, yes. So I had to separate from it so that I could get to a place that I could truly understand the ways. Like David said it was good that I had been afflicted, God, so I could understand your ways. See, sometimes you don't understand. That's why my daddy don't always tell you what's up ahead. He just give you colors and a book and say, figure it out. Because sometimes the only way you understand stuff is when you go through it. That's why you got to be careful who you judge and how you judge them. Matthew 7:1 says that we are not to judge others. But you know why? Because oftentimes the things that you complain about in other people are the things you do. That's why. That's why you don't complain about what they do, because you act the same way. But the difference is you want people to give you grace while you hold them in captivity. That's the difference. You want people to forgive you and forget while you over there singing Aretha Franklin, I'm willing to forgive, I ain't gonna forget, I can't never forget. What if they can't ever forget? Now you're both walking around brokenhearted and sick. Make it make sense. You can't ask people to give up something that you're not willing to hand over either. That's why most of you are not in your purpose, because you're too afraid of the sacrifice of the pleasures. I had to let go of my home, my marriage, my nice luxury car. I had to let go of my nice big house. I had to let go of my Christian Louboutin shoes and bags. Some of that stuff I had to sell just to make ends meet when I went through my divorce. I'm not ashamed to say it, because I got free from that stuff. I thought that I needed these titles, these name brand things to make me who I was. God stripped it from me, and he put me in a position where I had to rent an apartment. And for 4 years, I had to spend 4 years putting people in a home when I didn't own my own. When, quite honestly, I've been owning a home since I was 21 years old. I owned homes longer than I ever rented anything. But now God was humbling me, but I promise you, it felt like humiliation. I didn't realize that it was him humbling me for such a time as this until I stopped taking things personal and I started thinking about how we're going to profit from this. How is God going to get the glory out of this? How am I going to make sure that this thing goes ahead? Like, how am I going to take this pain and then turn it into a purpose? Because see, that's how you create businesses. A business is created when it solves a problem that a lot of people have. That's how you create businesses. If you create a business to solve a problem that nobody has, you're broke. You ain't got no business. But when you solve a problem that a lot of people have, or you provide that and you solve that problem with a service or a product, now you're wealthy. Because you put others first. You put their problem above your pride. See, God had to strip my pride away. He didn't tell me like, oh, you're never going to own a home again. You're never going to drive a luxury car again. Because, baby, guess what? Year 5, I built my own home. I had to sell a house on a corner lot. I built a house on a corner lot. I had to let go of a Lexus car. I bought a Lexus SUV. So he gave me back everything that I lost plus some. Because the home I have now, I wouldn't trade it for the home that I had prior. that home's not better to me than this one. And it's not because I did it as a single woman. It's because it's right in the position that I would have wanted my other home to be in. If I could have had it my way, I would have, and didn't know about this house that I built, I would have taken the other one that I built and moved it out to where I am now, because I love being by the water. And there's a beautiful pond that sits in front of my home, and I can sit out there and be at peace. And I like it. And quite honestly, I didn't like having 2 stories, because who trying to go upstairs and clean? I have scoliosis, my back hurt, and I'm not trying to clean upstairs. And nobody barely going up there. I got all house and no happiness. Make it make sense. God had to teach me how to be at peace with myself so I could be at peace with others. He had to take my pieces and make them masterpieces. And when I realized that I didn't need stuff to prove who I was, when I realized that I was fearfully and wonderfully made just the way I was, when I started healing and letting things go, and I saw how much it was blessing other people's lives, then baby, there's no dollar you can put on that. There's no red bottoms you can put on that. There's no Gucci or Louis or whatever your vice is. There's nothing you can put on that. I go to bed fulfilled every day because I'm doing what I know I was called to do. And when you understand your purpose, being able to respect and care for people is easier. You value people differently because you understand your value. But see, when you still negotiating your value because you don't even know your worth, that's when we have a problem. So the enemy gonna always be okay with you not revealing and don't tell nobody. And he gonna always be happy with you whispering in the dark. Because that's where he gets to damage you at the most. It's in the dark. He don't want you living in the light. And so if you are wondering like, why, what's going on? Why is this is why. And many of you were taught, like me, to hide. To hide, act like you don't care, don't be a burden to others. So you learn to self-contain, but what happens with the emotions you never let out? They don't go away. They turn into anger, anxiety, depression, and disconnection, and that's where we find you. We say we're fine because that feels safer. But inside, you wish somebody really saw you. And I don't mean in no boastful way. No, that they understood you. And so it's okay to let people love you. You don't have to do this thing alone. Even Jesus didn't pretend that he was okay all the time. He wept publicly. He got angry in the temple. You know they was in that gambling. He asked his friends to stay with him when he was in anguish. He cried out to God in despair. Baby, he even asked God to let the cup pass when he was going to have to die on the cross. He was like, hey. He went up to the mountains. Hey, dog. Yeah, no, I get an Ebonics version of the Bible. Hey, dog, you think you let that cup pass? And you know what God did? Because Nene Lisa's not the originator of I said what I said. Baby, please. It's God. Because you know what he said? Nothing. Jesus asked, God said, nothing. It's no different from your mama. You know when you was growing up, you asked your mama mama, can I go to this? Mama, can I go? Can I go? And all day, I mean, the whole week you trying to go somewhere, you asking her. She done told you no every day and every time you ask. But you know that last time you ask her, she don't respond back. Especially if she a black mama. It's because she about to slap you. The only reason she done got quiet and not responding is because she's about to slap you. Right before that whipping comes, there's stillness. Stillness, then a slap. And I know I done took half of you back right now. But God knew that he said something, it would have voided his word. And his word says his word doesn't return unto him void. So that means it's going as planned, and he ain't going to change the plan just because you crying. over some simple pleasures that don't even equate to the purpose he's about to take you to. You begging God for feelings when he's trying to give you fulfillment. You begging God for a vibe when he's trying to give you victory. Make it make sense. So no, you don't have to pretend like you strong. If the Son of God could share his sorrow and ask for help, why do you think you have to hold it all alone for my faith-based Christians? Why? If he didn't, who are you? I'm giving you permission to start being receptive to the things that God is trying to do in your life. I'm not telling you that strength is bad, but hiding it doesn't make you stronger. Hiding pain don't make you stronger. It weakens your nervous system and your body over time. It just kills you sooner. That's really all it does. So you don't have to keep proving that you're unbreakable to be loved. You don't have to keep secrets to be loved. You don't have to handle everything yourself. Because the only reason people don't come to help you is because you don't ask. Because you ask not. But if you ask them, imagine, why are you so afraid of them saying no? No has never killed you. Aren't you still alive? There's been a lot of people that tell you no. Aren't you still here? Aren't your bills paid? So why are you afraid of no? It's because you're too emotionally connected to it. That's why. But you were created to be whole. And that means being messy. It's okay to be messy. God can take your pieces and turn them into masterpieces. It's okay to be honest. It's okay to be human. You were created for purpose. Even in your struggle, the pain is there. He gives you pain. In the business world, we call it a problem. He gives you purpose. We call that a business. And that purpose brings you a profit. We call that a revenue. That's what he gives you. Because with the revenue, you can have impact. It's not about the money. It's about the impact. How can you feed those that's hungry if you have nothing to give them? For those of y'all who are talking about money, well, you're only saying that because you don't have any. But people who do, and the mass. How are you going to impact and feed people? You're not Jesus. You can't take 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and feed 5,000. You can take them 2 pieces of fish, and if you got boys like I do, my boys are teenage and preteen. Them 2 pieces of fish ain't going to feed anything. They going to eat it in 2 seconds and still steady hungry. So in order for you to have impact, there has to be intention. Intention by definition just means purpose. A reason that's bigger than you. Your pleasures, when you make those pleasures bigger than the purpose, is exactly why you're bankrupt. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physiologically, that's why you're bankrupt. You're bankrupt because you want your pleasures more than you want that purpose. And you want that person more than you want your purpose. I don't want anybody more than I want this purpose. I don't care who I have to let go. I don't care who I have to leave on this journey. It doesn't matter. I'm not living for me. If I was living for me, you would have never met me. I would have never written any books. I would never have started a podcast. I would have done absolutely nothing but stayed in a dysfunctional cycle of relationships that looked like my trauma, and I would have never known my values. And you would have never had this encounter. And I want you to think about that every time you decide to negotiate with things that are non-negotiables. When you think about putting your pleasures above your purpose, I want you to think about this moment. Because I've told you my story. So it's time for you to take that mask off. Let somebody in. Start healing what you were taught to hide so you can attract better people. The reason you're not attracting better is because you haven't gotten better. You get better, better comes. You stay bitter, bitter comes. You stay broken, broken comes. It's an energy and you attract it. It's like a fragrance. So change the fragrance you're wearing. So you know one thing I don't do? I never leave an episode without challenging you. That's what a good coach does, okay? So here are your 3 questions that I want you to journal and take some time with. And don't worry, I always put these in the show notes, just in case you miss one. So here's question number 1. Who taught you that vulnerability was dangerous? And I can promise you, whoever taught you vulnerability was dangerous is because they are sitting in bondage. And misery does love company, so they would love to see you in prison as well. And if you don't like to be in prison, then I highly recommend you don't follow them. I don't know which one is worse, physical prison or mental prison. And number 2, what part of you are you hiding so you can seem strong? And then the last one, what would it look like to let someone see the real you? So, family, you don't have to hide anymore. And you don't have to keep performing, and you don't have to carry it all alone. You can heal what success did not fix. You can. And so we've had this amazing conversation, and now you have a choice that you need to make, because life is all about choices. Choices and decisions. So today you can either choose to stay stuck in hiding, shame, and blame with yourself, or you can decide to make a change and join me in our upcoming masterclass. I'm going to be teaching you how to heal you first. 5 steps to healing your relationship with you. So check the show notes, grab your virtual seat. I promise you're going to be grateful that you did. And if you have not grabbed, if you've been struggling with vulnerability, because I know that 3rd question gonna wear some of y'all out. My 3rd book, I'll tag it in the show notes. It's called Vulnerability, The Art of Letting Go. And in that book, you'll learn how to let go. And of course, I share my own vulnerable story so you can see it in live action. But please know that it's time for you to invest in your healing. Invest in your healing like you invest in helping others. You know, if we're honest, those ones you love helping, you know they don't really want your help. They just want your resources. They want your time, your energy, your money, and your focus. And all they're going to do is waste it. Now, you done wasted thousands of dollars on them, but you won't invest $50 in you. Make it make sense, because it's not. So if this spoke to you today, this episode spoke to you today, you know what I always ask you to do. Make sure you hit the follow button, whether you're listening on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube podcasts, on Castbox, wherever you are hearing my voice. Hit that follow button, as that helps to increase our impact and our eyes, so we can give this healing and healthy conversation to others just like ourselves who need it, and share this with someone who needs permission to heal. You know who they are. The same people that's going to call you today about happy hour. Go ahead and send them this. Then they can actually be happy at the hour. I'm not mad about you going. I just want you to actually be happy before you get there. Okay? So share this with another person that you know they need permission to heal. And if you're ready to do the work, check those show notes and join the upcoming masterclass of Healing You First, because you need these steps so you can start having a healthier relationship with yourself. Because when you have a healthy relationship with you, then you can train others to do so also. So you teach people how to train you. You train people how to treat you. So if you don't treat you well, you're going to train them to do the same. So when you heal you first, training others how to handle you with care is easy and it's profitable. So I have been so grateful that you chose yourself today. And this is our time. We are done. I know you got to go breathe, inhale, exhale, all that. So go do it. Until next time, don't forget, take care of you on purpose. And leave a review. I want to hear your thoughts about this episode.